This is Business Plus Weekend, a roundup of business and economy news of the week and what to look forward to in the coming days. Stories you must know this weekend. Adani Group stocks continue to remain in limelight for the fourth session in a row today. Group's flagship Adani Enterprises led the pack, rallying as much as 18% after Gautam Adani announced a 15,446 crore rupees deal with US-based GQG Partners. Now, GQG Partners, founded by investment manager Rajiv Jain, picked up stake in 4 Adani Group companies. The US-based asset management firm bought 2.04 crore shares of Adani Ports, 1.38 crore shares of Adani Green, 90 lakh shares of Adani Enterprises and 88 lakh shares of Adani Transmission. All 10 listed entities of the group ended the day in green, with 6 stocks closing in the upper circuit. Adani Enterprises ended the day almost 17% higher and was the top gainer in the Nifty stable today. The stock is now almost 85% higher than its 52-week low. However, it is still about 45% below its January 24th closing price, the day Hindenburg came out with its damning report. Now, after last week's lull, the Indian market once again continued their northward journey this week amid a rejuvenated interest in Adani Group stocks and strong domestic cues. In the week ending today, March 3rd, Nifty rose 0.74% to close marginally below the 17,600 mark, and Sensex jumped 0.58% to end above the 59,800 mark. The broader markets outperformed benchmark indices, with Nifty Mid Cap 100 surging about 2% this week, Nifty Small Cap 100 rising 1.25%. Now, among sectors, PSU banks and realty counters surged the most, rising about 7 to 8% this week. On the other side, IT stocks succumbed to the selling pressure, with Nifty IT index falling about 2.4%. Foreign institutional investors turned net buyers once again, pumping in over 5,760 crores in the first 4 sessions of this week. Domestic institutional investors continued providing support as they bought equities worth 10,400 crore rupees this week. And India's service activity jumped to a 12-year high in February to 59.4 from 57.2 in January. The strong showing of the sector was on the back of easing price pressures and robust demand. India's Service Purchasing Managers Index, which provides insight into service sector, jumped to its highest level last month since February of 2011. A reading above 50 on the PMI index indicates expansion in the business activity, while one below it signals contraction. With February's reading, the activity of the service sector in the country has remained in expansion zone for 19 straight months. What's more, the strong growth in services activity boosted the composite PMI index to 59 in February from 57.5 in January. As we told you earlier, the composite index gauges both manufacturing and services of a country. And moving on to other news stories, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said out-of-the-box thinking and long-term vision can take tourism to new heights. He feels that villages in far-flung area of India have now come up on the map of tourism. Addressing a post-budget webinar on boosting developing tourism mission, Prime Minister pitched for developing and devolving apps which will help information in multiple languages of India, besides multilingual signages at tourist sites. Listen in to what he said.
हम ऐसा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर तैयार करें, पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप से करें, लोगों को कहें, जमीन की कुछ ऐसी व्यवस्थाएं करें, तो कॉन्फ्रेंसेस के लिए लोग आएंगे तो वो होटल में भी रुकेंगे, हॉस्पिटैलिटी इंडस्ट्री भी बढ़ेगी, यानी एक पूरा इकोसिस्टम डेवलप हो जाएगा। मैं चाहता हूं कि भारत में कम से कम 50 टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन ऐसे हमने डेवलप करने चाहिए कि दुनिया के हर कोने में पता हो कि अगर भारत जाते हैं तो इस जगह पे तो जाना ही चाहिए। हमारे जो टूर ऑपरेटर्स हैं, उनसे भी मेरा आग्रह है कि आपको नए सिरे से सोचना होगा। हमें हमारी एप्स, हमारा डिजिटल कनेक्टिविटी, इन सबको बहुत आधुनिक बनाना होगा और हमारा कोई टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशन ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए जिसकी ऐप यूएन की सभी लैंग्वेजेज में ना हो और भारत की सभी लैंग्वेजेज में ना हो।
Meanwhile, iPhone maker Foxconn is reportedly mulling to invest as much as $700 million in a plant near Bengaluru. The move is an indicator of an accelerating shift of manufacturing away from China. The investment is one of Foxconn's biggest single outlays to date in India and underscores how China is at risk of losing its status as the world's largest producer of consumer electronics. The factory reportedly may also be the site for producing some parts for its nascent electric vehicles businesses in India. And moving on to news from our neighbor Pakistan. Pakistan's economic crisis has deepened to a point where markets are now bracing for a loan default in absence of a confirmed credit line from the International Monetary Fund. The dollar's bond slid to their lowest level since November in Pakistan as investors weighed in its ability to honor a $7 billion repayment in coming months, which includes a Chinese loan of $2 billion due in March. Now, as of December 2022, the Pakistan government's external debt is 17.87 trillion Pakistani rupees, according to data shared by State Bank of Pakistan. Pakistan's net foreign exchange reserves are at $3.2 billion as of February 17th. Now, Pakistan is awaiting a critical, remember, $1 billion funding from IMF to end its woes. The beleaguered nation is cash-strapped and battling an all-time high inflation at 31.6%. In February, prices rose the fastest ever in Pakistan's history. The State Bank of Pakistan increased loan interest by 300 basis points on Thursday to a 20%, the highest level since October 1996, to meet IMF's bailout conditions. And the Andhra Pradesh government in India is riding on an investment tide. The state is said to have received 340 investment proposals worth 13 lakh crore on the sidelines of its Global Investors Summit 2023. The government is said to have signed 92 MOUs so far with 11.85 lakh crore rupees in line, which will give employment to almost 4 lakh people, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy said. Groups like Reliance, Adani and Aditya Birla, among others, have also expressed interest in investing in the state. Reliance said it will create 50,000 new job opportunities in Andhra and will promote the sale of products made in the state through retail business. Meanwhile, former RBI Governor D. Subbarao has criticized states that are restarting the old pension scheme. Calling it a regressive move, he said that the move will provide more privilege to government servants at the cost of larger public, majority of which has no social safety net. Subbarao said in a country where large majority of the people have no social safety net, government servants with an assured pension are a privileged lot, and giving them further privilege at the cost of larger public will be morally wrong and fiscally detrimental. Under old pension scheme, remember, an employee is entitled for a 50% amount of the last drawn salary as pension, while under the new pension scheme, employee contributes 10% of their basic salary towards pension, while the government contributes 14%. And shifting focus, Citigroup is cutting hundreds of jobs across the company, with its investment banking division and mortgage units among those affected. Citi is the latest to join a host of banks cutting costs. The layoff will amount to less than 1% of its 240,000 strong workforce. The media reports say that staffers across the firm's operations and technology organization and US mortgage underwriting arm are among those that will be affected. The routine cuts are a part of Citigroup's normal business planning, people familiar with the matter said. The move comes just weeks after rival JP Morgan cut hundreds of mortgage employees' jobs. Goldman Sachs, too, in one of its biggest rounds of job cuts ever in January, shared plans to eliminate thousands of positions across the country. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business Plus. For more incisive news analysis and cutting-edge documentaries, keep streaming News 9 Plus. Thanks for watching.